Hi, I am the Inspirational Lady Noble, 365 Tarot. Welcome to my channel. I greatly appreciate you being here. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. I trust you'll love this vibe, and everything you need to know about me is in the description below. This can be past, present, or future. You or someone around you. So take what resonates and leave the rest for someone else, okay? This is a general read. This is not a personal read. If you like a personal read, check out the description below. And I'll be greatly happy to assist you with doing so. Remember that tarot is a tool, it's not the final rule. And it's a good idea to have an empty cup when you are on Lady Noble channel and you really want to see what's up, okay? Hello, hello, and welcome, 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 welcome. Okay. The message that I have for you today, collective, is for you to toughen up, thicken up your skin, and prepare to go within. The message that I have is for you to be mindful of the more that you work on progress, which will lead you to some form of success, you will always have an energy of some sort of resistance. Now, this is not to project any negative energy, but it's part of the the duality that exists here on planet Earth. It doesn't matter who you are, where you're from, or what your belief system is, or what your area of interest or your career is, okay? Whenever you're working on progress or just living your life or just being you, there's going to be an imposing energy, but it's not to place fear in you. It doesn't mean for you to stop being who you are. It doesn't mean for you to dim your light. It doesn't mean that you're going to be loved any less or liked any less by the divine. It's just part of duality. It exists in all things. It's the polarity. It's in all people, places, and things, okay? And so Spirit wants you to know the more that you work on progress, the more that you work on being successful, it brings about a change, but they want you to toughen up. That's the message. Not to call you weak or anything, but for you to become very wise and not discouraged, but more encouraged. And don't allow the opinions of others to distract you or discourage you. You know, opinions are like ashtrays. We all have one, okay? Someone is always going to have something to say about you. Someone's going to always have an opinion of you, but you can't allow these things to interfere like the noise here, because it's all about, you know, that energy trying to intercept with change, intercept with you having change, intercept with you experiencing change, intercept with you being successful or happy. So Spirit is saying for you to brace yourself, and whenever you're feeling frustrated or extremely irritated by any person, place, or thing, for you to take a pause. Do not become confrontational. Do not go into rage, a fitting rage. Trust and know that it's just a test, and for you to look at it that way. And at those times, use it to strengthen your ability to tune out the noise, tune out the naysayers, tune out the haters. You know, those people who aren't rooting for you, you don't need them to root for you anyway. You know, if someone is not in support of who you are or your lifestyle, simply be okay with letting people be who they are, just as well as you want them to allow you to be who you are. So with change here, okay, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. I'm pretty sure you'll love the vibe. Thank you kindly, okay? All right. So with change being here, you know, it's not only you changing. As you change, you're sending out a reflection. And so the environment around you will change as well. So when it comes to relationships, whether it's romantic or friendship, you may lose certain connections, and Spirit is saying for you to be okay with that. Now, there are many reasons why you may lose certain connections in particular. Sometimes it is, you know, because a person could be jealous or envious. Sometimes you could make a person, by observing you, make changes in your life. You know, you send off a reflection, and you could make a person think about, you know, the areas of their life that they need to address or work on. And some people rather stay in their comfort zone. So when they come across an energy or an aura like yours, collective, you know, because I'm speaking to people who are working on bettering themselves each and every day. And it doesn't have to be anything major. It could be the small things, you know, it could be your way of thinking. It could be your opinions of others. It can be how you communicate, okay, from a smaller scale to a larger scale. But it could just be very frustrating. A lot of people want to stay in their comfort zone, even though you may say to yourself, well, I know a lot of ways that I could help that person. I could really give them some good advice. Well, there are people out there who don't want the advice. They don't want the advice. They don't want the assistance to make any changes. And we have to be okay with that. We're not put here to be Captain Save 'em. You know, you weren't born with a cape on, and you're not put here to save people or try to Bible thump at people or, allow people to be themselves just as well as you want people to allow you to be you. And so this message, it came through. I wasn't going to speak on it, but I got nudged more than once. So that means that it's time for me to speak on it. Okay. It came 3 times, like, let them know, let them know. So I'm picking up that there is someone who's watching this video or someone who will see it that needs to hear this message to stay strong and don't allow anyone to deter you or make you feel discouraged. Move in silence. Be wise of not sharing your plans and your next move with people. Learn to celebrate silently as well. That's for someone, that's not for everyone. You don't have to post everything online, even though we see people do that and they make themselves a target, posting everything, showing everything. We are not in grade school. This is not show and tell. Spirit is saying, be wise. And it's not about being in fear. It's not about being scared, okay? Because we don't operate out of fear because that's a lower vibration, okay? So, but it's about using your intelligence and living and expressing the wisdom that you have obtained by using your intelligence and just being wise about how you move about, how you interact, and how you engage while you're here on the planet Earth. Spirit is saying there's a lot of simple things that can be done to bring happiness and peace into all of our lives. As I'm speaking to you, I'm speaking to myself as well. But there's a lot of simple, small things that can be done to bring peace and happiness into our lives. We do not have to imitate or duplicate what someone else is doing, and we need to come out of, they're saying, Spirit saying we need to come out of thinking that is cool if it's trendy, because everything that's trendy just isn't cool. There's times in your life where, when they're roaming, it's a good time to be still. And when they are still, it's a good time for you to roam. And so those who get it, get what I just said. So just because something is trendy or popular or pop in, it's a good time to not be seen. Sometimes it's a good time to be silent. Okay. And just be observant of what's taking place around you. And it's not to try to classify or identify yourself as being better than, but when you're on a higher frequency, you are higher than. Okay, you're higher than someone, with that low vibrational mentality, or someone who thinks in lack, or someone who speaks down on themselves. You're not on their frequency. So it's not about being better than, you're on a higher than frequency than them. So yeah, so it's time to be wise. And so the goal is to avoid the Five of Pentacles. The goal is to avoid this experience here. This experience doesn't have to always be, could be, someone being, homeless or needing shelter, but this could also represent just feeling left out of the loop, feeling alone, feeling lonely. But Spirit is saying it's time for you to build your wit and your tenacity and be so confident within yourself that you cannot be shaken and you cannot be moved. So there's a need to make sure that you're grounding yourself, so this poverty word, so you won't feel spiritually poverish. Okay. So you won't feel spiritually parvished. Okay. So Spirit wants you to be mindful of that. Okay. Not allowing, people to get to you, not allowing them to discourage you, being willing to say no, not always being in the energy of feeling you have to turn up all the time and be turned on. You need to be okay with being silent. You need to be okay with sometimes being alone, not all the time, but you should be okay with that. It shouldn't bother you to sit in a room of peace. It should not bother you if you choose not to do what everyone else is doing. Okay. And so the next card we have here is the Chariot card. Okay, so it's about you maintaining your balance. This information is coming to you. This is your confirmation, not a coincidence, so that you're able to maintain your balance, just as I was just talking about, grounding yourself. So these are things that you really want to be mindful of. One second, ladies and gentlemen. Just set that there. So yes, you want to be mindful so that you don't become spiritually impoverished, okay? And so Spirit is saying with the Page of Pentacles here for you to get in the energy of focusing on your coin, focusing on those people, places, and things that celebrate you, not tolerate you. Those things that make you feel good, that puts you in that happy space and happy place. And when I say those people and things that make you feel good, I'm not speaking of consuming maybe alcohol or, always smoking a spliff. I'm talking about naturally being happy and content and grateful with who you are and where you are in life. I'm talking about saturating yourself in the energy of gratitude and being okay with who you are, being appreciative of having life, being able to walk, talk, speak, hear, having a roof over your head, a home, a vehicle, being able to eat clean water, saturating yourself so much in gratitude each and every day of your life. Does not matter if you're not where you want to be, you're not where you're used to be. And because we understand that we are constantly in the energy of evolution, we know that change is always happening, therefore change is always possible. Nature takes care of its own, and we have watched this time and time again throughout our lives, okay? That's why we're here watching this reading in this video, whether we click on or off or not, because we have witnessed this. So Spirit is saying, focus on the good things, the positive things, and really take time, to have those moments of solitude to yourself. There's nothing wrong with solitude. There's nothing wrong with meditation. There's nothing wrong with being in silence. There's nothing wrong with burning an incense, some sage, opening a window, reading a scripture, whatever works for you. Find that thing that works for you, that recalibrates your energy, that gives you a boost, even if it's your favorite music. All are welcome on this channel. Doesn't matter what your belief system is, okay? And I say that repetitively because it goes with this read, so I might as well share it with you, collective. The reason I say that, because I stand on it. I am not here to battle or try to convince anyone that they should change their belief system or their culture, any religion that they're in. Whatever you want to do with your life, baby, do you. My channel is not about trying to convince anyone to be anything other than themselves. And I stand on that. I do not choose to waste my currency, aka my time. Life is so precious and I'm so grateful. I do not choose to waste my currency trying to dictate and tell people how they should live their lives. If I come across someone in my personal life that I don't resonate with, then I can simply remove myself. But I choose where I am at in my life not to try to convince anyone to be anything other than what they desire to be. I am not in the place to judge, and nor do I want to. It is none of my business what anyone's belief system is. If you like it, you like it. If you don't, guess what? We still okay. And I really stand on that. So I wanted to share that, why I say that repetitively. I don't just say things that rhyme all the time, but I just happen to rhyme all the time, and that's fine. but I am who I am and I don't apologize for it. But I really stand on that. All are welcome here. It doesn't matter what your belief system is, whether you go into the Jehovah Witness Hall, whether you're Catholic, whether you're in a Baptist church, whatever, it doesn't matter. Okay, all are welcome here. I don't feel the need to even debate or argue with anyone about what my belief system is or what their belief system is, because I feel, not feel, I actually know that we all have our own simulation. We all have our own world that we are living in. We have our own path and contract to fulfill while we're here on planet Earth. And I think it's foolish and a waste of currency, aka your time. When I see people, I don't comment, but when I see it, I just laugh and move on. When I see people battling about who's right, who's wrong, who was here, who wasn't here, not to say that I am oblivious or I do not respect the ancestors or the history or the herstory. I respect it all, but I just choose not to try to spend my currency trying to convince someone to be anything other than what they desire to be. Now we're going to move on. And so, with that being said, I stand 10 toes down on who I am, and I would never ever try to debate about my belief system, who I am, why am I reading these cards? I'm doing me, you do you, and so in this read, I'm sharing that because Spirit is saying you have to be in that same energy, but not pump faking it wholeheartedly. Meaning, when you experience someone resisting or being disrespectful or discouraging, maybe you're sharing an idea, which I just said don't share. It's a shame that you can't share, but you just can't. When you have conversations, you have to talk about anything but your business. But when you recognize any sort of resistance in your life, in your children's life, or it's a good idea just to separate yourself from that person. When people show you who they are, as the late great Maya Angelou would say, just simply believe them. Events happen in life when we experience people for a reason. Everyone and everything has a purpose. And whenever you come across someone who chooses to maybe downplay who you are, try to make you feel inferior, try to break your spirit, those things are happening intentionally. Those karmic experiences are happening so you can learn from them, so you can recognize, okay, there's friction here. Okay. So you can pick and choose, will you stay? Will you go? Will you stay and try to figure them out, or will you move on about your business? Will you stay and explain to them who you are, or will you move on? Those events and experiences happen on purpose, and many people choose to stay in the loop on the hamster wheel, moving fast, going nowhere, and they repeat the cycle constantly, not just romantically, but even with friendships and business partnerships as well. A person will stay locked in and engaged with someone knowing that it's not working, knowing that things are going sour or you're growing apart. And people will often spend the rest of their lives, their currency, self-sacrificing themselves, self-sacrificing their joy, their happiness, their blessing, their favor, their opportunity. And so Spirit is saying, this reading is for some people in particular here, to not allow anyone to make you waver who you are. You have to stand 10 toes down in who you are. And know that you don't have to become confrontational. You don't have to get into any heated argument with anyone, because we're taught, that, noise is powerful when it's actually the reciprocal. Silence is more powerful than noise. Okay. And so, just like, if I had a quarter and a dollar, the quarter would make more noise, but we know the dollar holds more value. Okay. You'll make me go to my wallet for the prompt for that. But either way, it's time to be in that energy and not stop sparing so much of our energy, having these nonsense disagreements, because people are people. We're all supposed to be different. But there's so much unhappiness and sadness, Spirit is saying. We can't fix everybody. We're not here for that. But this is a personal thing. This is between you and the divine. This is between you and your ancestors, for you to enjoy your life while you are here. Okay. Every day is very precious and very valuable. And so when you're working on my favorite word, change, it is a wonderful thing. Okay, it is a wonderful thing to be working on change. It is a wonderful thing to be progressing. It is a wonderful change to want to build and create or do something to enhance your life for your highest good. And so the first person that shows resistance, you don't have to front them off. You know, your BS detector go off. Beep, 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 beep. Move away, and you just remove yourself from entertaining their presence at all. Okay. Yes, there's so many that are just so unhealed and so sad. And there's a lot of pump faking going on out here, a lot of fakeness going on. Okay. That keep coming up, a lot of fake, but judgment is being called. And the energy that we're in, the nine, the snake year, all this massive truth is being revealed. And the truth is revealing a lie is revealing the truth, and people can't hide anymore. Things are being told like it is, just about every time that you watch the television or the social media, or Facebook, or bitter Twitter. Yeah, I got all kind of rhymes. You're always left with your mouth open, like, but this is the energy that we are in. It's about truths being revealed. It's about balance being restored. Okay. It's about the scales being balanced. Who are you? What's in your heart? What have you been doing? Okay. How long will you continue to run amok? And then this isn't about right versus wrong. This is just about balance being restored. So the truth has to be revealed so that balance can be restored. You can only run amok for so long. You can only reap from something and not give back for so long. Eventually, the scales are going to tip and tip and tip and tip, and then Mother Earth is going to get fed up, Gaia is going to get fed up, and then different things start to occur when you're watching the Weather Channel, et cetera, et cetera. Okay. Yes, because, balance have to be restored. You cannot run amok your entire life. And spiritually speaking, on so many levels, Spirit is saying for you to start with self. Michael Jackson, the man in the mirror. We can't control all, but we can start with ourselves. Okay. And this is the Ace of Wands. And so Spirit is showing up in the reading saying, yes, yes, we can start with ourselves and just work on ourselves. We don't have to try to save anyone. We don't have to stress ourselves out and overwhelm, but be okay. Because sometimes, depending on who you are, let's talk about it, collective, your life may require for you to be alone. Your life may require for you to keep your circle tight, okay? Your life may require that if you want peace, okay? If you want to have that success. That's why they say everyone can't go with you. And that is so true. They can't. They cannot. Mm-mm, 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 mm-mm. Now I'm hearing somebody might get offended at a dinner napkin. Oh boy. Oh boy. They're talking about the cloth dinner napkins. Ooh, the downloads I'll be getting. This is so funny. Somebody might get offended at a dinner napkin. Yeah, so you can't take everybody with you. If they're not accustomed to a particular lifestyle and you could be handling some business that's very important to you. Do you think a person that's non-supportive of you is really going to basically be on their best behavior or not say or do something to sabotage you? If they're feeling like this, and you have a business meeting at a five-star restaurant with an investor who wants to give you a couple of million, but this person has never had an experience like this. This is just an example. What do you think is going to occur? This is somebody that is negative. This is somebody who downplays all your idea. They call all your ideas stupid. They say it's whack, it's not cool. And you happen to invite them to a business meeting. I'm just giving an example. And it's at a five-star restaurant. And you have some investors coming. Real talk. And this person has never been in an atmosphere like this. As a matter of fact, they find it to be bougie, but you talk them and persuade them into going with you because you want them to experience, you want them to have the experience. So you call yourself being kind. They're not looking at it as you want them to have an experience or you're just being kind. They're looking at it as you are a show off. They're looking at you offering them a nice experience as you're being a show off. And since this person in this energy is not willing to work on themselves, they're going to go with you and do something possibly to ruin the transaction or embarrass you. And 9 times out of 99.999% of the time, it's done on purpose. It's intentional. It's to make you upset. It's to create some kind of confrontation or commotion. It's to deter maybe this investor from even wanting to do business with you. It's to make you look bad. That's why everyone can't go with you. That's why you hear the phrase, it's lonely at the top. It is so true. You cannot. You cannot. A star only shines if it has your attention. That's how celebrities are made. But I don't need to mention. A star only shines if it has your attention. Okay, so there is someone who is very concerned with your success. They're concerned about this confetti, all this color, all this celebration. They're concerned with you being a star. They're concerned with you getting attention. There could be someone maybe monitoring you. And it doesn't have to be on social media, but it could be. It could be. It could be in your neighborhood. It could be at work. Okay. It can be in your church. Okay. It could be many of places. Okay. Some kind of group or organization you're connected to. Okay. But there's someone who's very concerned, and they come off as if they are your friend or your BFF. But people will cling to you, collective, and you think that they're your friend, and they're actually just monitoring you because they want to mirror you. They want to be you. They want to walk in your shoes. So they'll stay close to you so that they can mirror you or try to sabotage you. So be mindful. Be mindful. You may have the mindset of seeing the cup half full. Well, they don't see the cup half full. Every time you say something kind and positive, collective think they all that. They think they know everything. Don't nobody want to hear that. Talking about upliftment. Talking about transmuting energy. Don't nobody want to hear that. We want to stay in lack. It's their comfort zone. And you have to be okay with allowing people to stay in their comfort zone. When they're ready to come out, when they're ready to experience their awakening or make changes in their life, they will do that. But it's in their own timing. We can't force anyone to do anything. Because I know I don't want nobody forcing me to do nothing. Nothing, and everybody ain't for me and I ain't for everybody. And I respect that. I don't want to be for everybody. And we can talk about that for like 24 hours. We can run a 24-hour marathon talking about why. Ooh, that could be hilarious. About why you shouldn't want everybody to be for you. I'm straight. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Go where the love is. Go where the reciprocity is. Okay? Folks mean mugging, being rude. Okay, now I'm seeing somebody walking past somebody and bump them on purpose and don't say excuse me. Don't you create no confrontation. Just make sure they don't get that close to you no more. I will get far, far away from that ashtray. Folks be trying to do stuff on purpose. Yes, they do. We have the Knight of Wands here. It says hurried, adventurous, energetic, charming, and passionate, confident, and heroic. Okay? So this is your energy, confident and heroic. Okay? And this is what they see when they see you, even if you don't feel like it. Okay? Who cares you ain't laid your edges down today? Guess what? When they see you, you look pretty. Who cares you ain't had a haircut? When they see you, you look handsome. Yeah, so what you ain't shave your beard? You still look good. I'm telling you. People recognize that they see it, okay? And folks be jealous and envious of the littlest things. You could just be a private person. Maybe you're very private. Maybe you're someone who's very resilient. You're very resourceful. You experience life. You just handle your business different. This is not about being perfect because there's no such thing as perfect. We can make things better, we can enhance, but you just move different. So when they see you, they see something else. They see someone else. They're like, how the collective do it? How? You have people trying to scratch their hair. You got people twirling their locks, giving themselves a spiral curl. Like, I just don't see. Give me another piece of gum so I can chew and study the collector because I don't see how they do it. You make it look easy, the way you maintain, the way you live your life. And it doesn't matter. You probably, at the table trying to figure it out. Okay, how I'm going to pay this and pay that. You're getting it done. And like I seen on YouTube, I seen the short, like the guy said, that don't mean you broke. That means you're responsible. You paid all your bills and you don't have no money. That means you are responsible. You better pat yourself on the back just for being persistent. Just for being persistent enough to be responsible so that you and yours will have your own. You can maintain having your own home. Your children can have their own. That's magic within itself. You ask me, that is magic. To be persistent, consistent at being responsible, someone who knows how to do some real adulting, you know how to prioritize, you put first thing first, you're not making excuses. You're not running to GameStop. You're like, what need to be paid? Now, if something left, we're going to go. No doubt. But what need to be paid up in here? What's the date on that? Okay. All right, we got something left. Now we're going to play with this over here. That's called being responsible. Y'all need to give yourself more credit. That is magic within itself. That is a gift within itself. Especially if you know someone with a large family who's doing it persistently and consistently. And I'm talking about putting first things first, prioritizing. Even if you need a new bra, but something else is needed in the home, let's talk about it. Okay, you like, I gotta get this first, and we go get them bras. Let's talk about it. We have different people from different backgrounds and different lifestyles. Let's talk about it. Come on. Everybody done been there with something needs to be done, but you had to juggle that. You eventually got it, but you gotta move it around like chess pieces. You gotta juggle that. Ooh, you make it look good. You make it look good. And you got them doing this. I don't know how collective do it. I don't know. Did you see what they did the other day? I seen them come in a bag. They had some bags. I wonder what they bought. And I wonder when the holiday comes, I don't know how they pay for that. And did you see them? And then I saw a car pull up and people chattering. This could be family, friends, neighbors, woman, your man. Like I said, church folks, people at your job. You might go to your car, eat your lunch. You might go for a walk. I see somebody walking on their lunch break, like skip lunch, I'm going for a walk. I'm going to clear my mind. Or maybe you go sit outside under a tree or something. You mind your business. Not being rude, not being snobby, but you just simply mind a business that pays you. It makes no sense really to dibble dabble in other people's ish. It doesn't. Because a lot of things, how can I say this? I'm just going to say it. A lot of things that I used to be interested in, I'm just not. As I move forward collective, it just doesn't interest me. If I'm trolling social media, certain stuff just don't interest me because I'll be like, why is that? I ask myself, I don't know about nobody else, but why is that any of my business? Why do I care? And I don't even know them people. Now, if I knew them, maybe it'd be interesting, but I don't know them and they don't even know me. I just had to share that. Like, you are maintaining and keeping ish balance. They want to know how you do it. You're like a mystic, okay? Whether you're single or in a committed relationship, because you're very private. And I'm picking up, you speak to people, you say hi, you have a smile on your face. You're not rude, but when it comes to your personal life, that's off limits. That's off limits. And it's not that you're paranoid. It's just you're like, So that's for somebody. Okay, that may not be for everybody. I'm talking to somebody that's very private, but you're very strategic. I'm even picking up. Oh wow, you could be someone who is single, and people assume that you're not dating anyone. because they don't see them. They don't see this person come to your house. You could have people making assumptions. Who cares what they think? Whether you're part of LGBT or whatever, who cares? You know what? I wouldn't explain. Let them think. Okay, oh, okay, you have fun, they talking, okay. So I'm picking up someone that's single and there's a lot of speculation. People want to know where your mate or where your spouse is. And they think that you don't have anyone. You date, but you don't bring people to your home. Okay? Male or female. Oh, there's some guys who ain't taking you to their home and they are single. They smart. They smart. Yeah, because that might not work out and somebody might want to pull back. And Jasmine Sullivan, the windows out your car type of ish. But either way, yeah, there's a lot of people talking and chattering and wondering, and that's okay. Okay, so you're private. They're assuming for somebody, they're assuming you don't have a spouse or a mate. You date, but you don't bring them to your home, and that's something you live by, and that's your business. And I think this is very smart. Okay, so we have the Queen of Pentacles here. It says mature and grounded businessman. Okay, high social status. Okay, generosity, loyalty, prosperity, financial independence. Okay, abundant and independent. Yeah. So this is simply beautiful. So Spirit is saying for you to just continue to toughen up. That's what you've been doing from what I've been reading. Continue to be wise. Let no one waver you in your belief system. Whatever you choose to believe in, however you choose to live your life, you are entitled to that. And do not dim your light for anyone. Turn it up if you need to, as bright as you want it to be. This concludes the read. Later.